Hello everyone, I welcome you all in the 10th part of our 1000 most expected question series for CUET PG English Literature exam. So those of you are preparing for CUET PG 2026 English Literature exam, do like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel to get to know all the important questions that have been already asked in CUET PG and UGC NET JRF. And as you all know, we have already discussed about the Romantic period and who are the important poets of Romantic period. We also discussed the Victorian period and who are the important poets of Victorian poetry. And in this session, we will discuss some of the important novelists of 19th century and what are the important novels they have written in that time. All of them we will discuss in our today's session. So watch this video till the end to get to know all the important questions from 19th century novels. And without further delay, let's begin the session. The first question of today's session is who wrote the work The Angel in the House? The Angel in the House is one of the most important work in 19th century, and this work is written by one of the most important author of that time period, and the author is Coventry Patmore. Coventry Patmore wrote this work The Angel in the House. It was Tony Kushner who wrote the work Angels in America. The second question is who called PRB as fleshly school? We all know PRB is a literary group of 19th century which is founded in the year 1848, and the some of the important members of PRB group are D.G. Rossetti, Christina Rossetti, William Helmond Hunt. Who called PRB as fleshly school? The author who called PRB school as fleshly school was Robert Buchanan. Robert Buchanan called PRB school as fleshly school of poet, and it was D.G. Rossetti who responded through his work The Stealthy School of Poetry to Robert Buchanan. The third question is which work of Edgar Allan Poe influenced D.G. Rosseti's The Blessed Damozel? The Blessed Damozel is one of the most important works of Dante Gabriel Rossetti, and this work is published in the year 1850, and this work is influenced by Edgar Allan Poe. We all know Edgar Allan Poe was one of the most important poets from America, and his work the Raven influenced Dante Gabriel Rossetti's work The Blessed Damozel. The fourth question is who wrote the closet drama Atlanta in Caledon? We all know the closet drama were introduced in 17th century, and it was John Milton who wrote the closet drama Samson Agonistes, and the closet drama Atlanta in Caledon was written by A.C. Swinburne. A.C. Swinburne wrote this work Atlanta in Caledon. The fifth question is who translate the work Rubaiyat? The Rubaiyat is the most important work of Umar Khayyam and which is written in Persian language, but later in 19th century this work is translated by one of the 19th century author, and this work is translated by Edward Fitzgerald. Edward Fitzgerald translated Rubaiyats by Umar Khayyam. The sixth question is who wrote the work Light of Asia? The Light of Asia is a work of the brother of Matthew Arnold, and this author also wrote or translated Bhagavad Gita in the year 1895, and the author who wrote the work The Light of Asia was Edwin Arnold. Edwin Arnold wrote this work The Light of Asia. The seventh question is who was known as the father of English socialism? We all know 19th century was the beginning or beginning point of many movements like socialism, Darwinism, and the person who was known as the father of English socialism was Robert Owen. Robert Owen was known as the father of English socialism. The eighth question is who used the phrase condition of England question? The condition of England question is the most important phrase in 19th century novels, as we all know that 19th century novels are all written based on the condition or social reality of England, and the phrase the condition of England question was introduced by Thomas Carlyle. Thomas Carlyle introduced this phrase the condition of England question in his work Chartism, which is published in the year 1839. The ninth question is who coined the term New Women? The term New Women is introduced in 19th century, and the 19th century novelists like Charles Dickens, Thomas Hardy, who used this term in their novels through introducing a female character, and the term New Women is coined by Sarah Grant. Sarah Grant coined this term New Women in the year 1894. The 10th question is who wrote the essay The Subjection of Women? Who has written some of the other important works like What is Poetry, Utilitarianism, and the essay The Subjection of Women is written by J.S. Mill. J.S. Mill wrote this work in the year 1869. The 11th question is the novel Hard Time is dedicated to. The novel Hard Time, which is published in the year 1854 by Charles Dickens, and in this work Charles Dickens depicts the reality of Victorian England or industrial England, and this work Hard Time is dedicated to his beloved friend Thomas Carlyle. Charles Dickens' work Hard Time is dedicated to Thomas Carlyle. The 12th question is Charles Darwin's Origin of Species is published in, and he in his work talk about the theory of evolution and struggle for existence, and Charles Darwin's work The Origin of Species was published in 1859. In the year 1859 Charles Darwin published his work Origin of Species. The 13th question is who are the proponents of Oxford movement? The Oxford movement is the most important religious movement in 19th century, and this movement is also known as Tractarianism because the writers of this movement some of the important tracts of that time. And who are the proponents of Oxford movement? The proponents of Oxford movements are John Keble, Cardinal Newman, and Edward Bouverie. These are some of the proponents of Oxford movement. The 14th question is who first used the term art for art's sake? Art for art's sake is a term which is introduced in 19th century, and this term is introduced by Benjamin Constant or Victor Cousin. Benjamin Constant or Victor Cousin first used the term art for art's sake, and through this term he tries to depict that art is for artistic pleasure only. And some of the important proponents of art for art's sake are Oscar Wilde, Walter Pater. The 15th question is who wrote the Young England trilogy? Young England trilogy is a trilogy which is based on the industrial condition of England, and this trilogy is written by Benjamin Disraeli. Benjamin Disraeli wrote this Young England trilogy, and the part of these trilogies are Tancred, Coningsby, and Sibyl. These are the three important works by Benjamin Disraeli, whom he included in his Young England trilogy. The 16th question is what is the subtitle of the novel Mary Barton? Mary Barton is the most important or first work of Elizabeth Gaskell, and in this work the subtitle of this work is A Tale of Manchester Life. A Tale of Manchester Life is the subtitle of Elizabeth Gaskell's work Mary Barton, and this work is published in the year 1848. The 17th question is who used the pseudonym Charles James Yellowplush? The author who used various pseudonyms like Charles James Yellowplush, and the author who used the pseudonym Charles James Yellowplush is William Makepeace Thackeray. William Makepeace Thackeray used the pseudonym Charles James Yellowplush. The 18th question is, what is the subtitle of the novel Vanity Fair? Vanity Fair is a novel which is written by William Makepeace Thackeray, and this novel is published in the year 1847, and the title of this work is taken from John Bunyan's work The Pilgrim Progress. The subtitle of this work is A Novel Without a Hero. A Novel Without a Hero is the subtitle of William Makepeace Thackeray's novel Vanity Fair, which is published in the year 1847. The 19th question is, who used the term panoramic novel? Panoramic and scenic are two important terms for novels, and this term is first used by the author Percy Lubbock. Percy Lubbock used this term for the first time in his work Craft of Fiction. The 20th question is, who gave the statement, I have no brains above my eyes, I describe what I see? This statement is said by one of the most important novelists of 19th century, and the novelist who said this statement was William Makepeace Thackeray. William Makepeace Thackeray said that I have no brains above my eyes, I describe what I see. The 21st question is, who wrote the biography The Life of Charles Dickens? The biography The Life of Charles Dickens is one of the most important biography of 19th century, and we all know there are some of the important biographies which have been already asked in CUET PG exams, like the biography of Samuel Johnson, which is written by James Boswell, and the biography of Charles Dickens is written by John Foster. John Foster wrote the biography of Charles Dickens. The 22nd question is, who founded the magazine Household Words and All the Year Around? The Household Words and the All the Year Around are the two important magazines of 19th century, and these magazines are founded by Charles Dickens. Charles Dickens founded the magazines The Household Words or All the Year Around. The 23rd question is, what is the subtitle of the novel Oliver Twist? Oliver Twist is the second novel by Charles Dickens, which is published in the year 1837, and the subtitle of this work is The Parish Boy's Progress. The Parish Boy's Progress is the subtitle of Oliver Twist, and this novel is also part of Newgate Fiction or the Newgate Prison novels. The 24th question is, the opening line, whether I shall turn out to be the hero of my life or whether that station will be held by else, pages will must show. This is the opening line, one of the most important novels by Charles Dickens, and the opening line is taken from the work David Copperfield. Charles Dickens' novel David Copperfield opens with the line, whether I shall turn out to be the hero of my life or whether that station will be held by else, these pages must show, is the opening line of David Copperfield, and this work David Copperfield was published in the year 1850. The 25th question is, who was the only female narrator in Charles Dickens' Bleak House? Charles Dickens, who introduced only female character in his novel Bleak House, and the female character or the female narrator in his Bleak House is Esther Summerson. Esther Summerson is the only female protagonist in Charles Dickens' novel The Bleak House. These are some of the important questions from 19th century novels. So those of you are preparing for CUET PG 2026 English Literature exam, do like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel to get to know all the important questions and study materials. Thank you everyone for watching this video.